How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the police shooting that has become very controversial. A lot of mixed opinions about this online, all over the internets, from the mainstream media and more. This happened in the Houston, Texas area, more specifically Baytown, Texas. There was a 44-year-old woman who had multiple warrants out for her arrest, assault, criminal mischief, those kind of things, who had been locked up before. She gets approached by an officer who was trying to arrest her for those outstanding warrants. The officer knows who she is because he's had run-ins with her before. She does not want to get arrested. She's resisting. They get onto the ground. They're tussling. The officer produces his taser to try and subdue her that way because she's out of control, screaming and hollering, this, that, and the third. At this point, or shortly thereafter, she says, I'm pregnant. He tries to use a taser on her. It's not effective. Somehow, during the tussle, she was able to get the taser from him and tase the officer. At this point, he takes out his gun, shoots her, and kills her. I think it was about 4 or 5 shots. Now, this is drawn on kind of controversy, criticism. People are saying, oh, she was a pregnant woman. How dare you? You should have been able to subdue her without using lethal force, this, that, and the third. First of all, let's go back a little bit. This woman, 44 years old, with grandkids, was not pregnant, okay? I've seen on some multiple sources. I think her kids even confirmed it. It was on the mainstream media news that night, and I'll place a link in the box below if you don't believe me. She was not pregnant. She was saying she was pregnant probably because she's been locked up before. She's been arrested before because the officer knew her already. So she figured that might get me out of the situation or have the officer kind of be off his game and letting the guard down a little bit. That was a lie that she was pregnant. Second of all, like I said, she's 44 years old with grandkids. Third, she was on medication for schizophrenia. So this could have been a drug-induced rage. Somebody not in their right mind. So it'd make sense for the officer to try and tase her to subdue her. Also, it's important to subdue her because she's probably on drugs and she got warrants. She is a dangerous individual. I don't care if you're male, female, whatever. If you're on drugs and you're motivated to not go to jail, you can become very dangerous. And who knows what she has on her. She could have a knife. She could have a gun. Whatever the case may be, the officer was correct to try and subdue her the way he did with the taser. Now, once she gets the taser and tases the officer, what is he to do? He has a gun on him. He has to pull it out and use it to end the threat. It's not even really about trying to kill her or whatever. Officers are trained to end the threat. The first method was a taser. That was ineffective. She takes it from him and uses it on him. So she has elevated herself to a higher threat at this point, which makes it necessary for the officer to equalize that with the gun. People are saying that, oh, we shouldn't have shot her. It was too much for a woman, this, that, and the third. Well, what is he to do? I mean, she probably on drugs. She done already tased him. If she is successful in tasing him and making him be, incapacitated, now his gun is right there. She took the taser. She could take the gun as well, shoot him, kill herself, and kill others. They were in front of an apartment complex. It was a guy that was right there that was filming it. He could have got shot by her. The situation could have really spiraled out of control if the officer did not do what he's supposed to be doing, which is to end the threat. Okay, so I don't really see the outrage here. I think the main thing is that the officer may have been white and she was black. I don't know what the officer was. It could have been Hispanic, black, white. It doesn't really matter. But I think the general thought is that the officer was white and she was black. Therefore, is racially motivated. He should be fired. He should be sent to the penitentiary or whatever. But how are you going to send him to the penitentiary? That's called self-defense. It was on camera. All right. An officer has to do that. He has a gun on him that can be taken away the same way the taser was taken away. Then things get out of control. There is no real jury in the world, in my humble opinion, that would convict him on that. If he did get convicted for a murder or whatever, manslaughter, that'd get overturned on an appeal. because that'd be a miscarriage of justice. There are times when officers go over the edge and they do things they shouldn't be doing, but this time right here is not one of them. Not at all. Far from it. The officer did all what they could do. There was no more that could be done. And it's unfortunate this person is dead. And I say, prayers out to the family, but she earned that, unfortunately. It probably was the drugs she was on. Her daughter said she was on medication for schizophrenia. That could have been it. You on a drug-induced rampage, not in your right mind. You could have any kind of weapon. You could have a dirty needle on you. Anything could happen in that situation. So what else could be done to those that say that he shouldn't have shot and killed her after he tried to taser? I don't really know. So that is pretty much all I got for that. I just want to add one more thing. Why is this story even really a story? If the person that got shot and killed were white, nobody would care. Nobody would really, it don't matter if they're a white male especially, but white female, it doesn't matter. This wouldn't be news. Nobody would, it'd just be somebody else that was wrestling with the police and then unfortunately lost their life as a result of their police interaction. Police generally aren't trying to do that. Okay. They're just trying to go home to their families. They're trying to survive and do their job. They're not trying to do that. There was no other choice in this situation. This could have been much worse. Shout out to the officer for containing it the best they could. It's unfortunate, the result, but what else is to be done? People talking about Black Lives Matter, all this and that. But then in this case where the person unfortunately earned their demise, they want to say this is a miscarriage of justice. But we're talking about abortion, 20 million black souls that have been taken since 1973 Roe v. Wade. Oh, you want to support abortion. You want to support that. The Heartbeat Bill and Alabama Bill 314, which outlaws abortion, are both somehow wrong and bad and mean and cruel. So you want to support the mass scale killing of human beings that are totally innocent. But when the person who has warrants for their arrest, multiple warrants, fighting an officer, tases an officer, and they get killed, all of a sudden you want to try to cry about innocent lives being taken. It's a really weird thing. It's kind of like Bizarro World. Those that should be fought for, you don't fight for, you fight against. And those that should not be fought for, you fight for. It's weird, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. What say you? Do you think that this shooting was a good shooting? If so, explain to me why in the comments below. Was it a bad shooting? Do you think the officer should have exercised more restraint? What more could he have done? You getting tased and you got a gun on you. If you are tased successfully and you like all this and that, tensed up, and the gun is right here, and the person probably on drugs already took the taser from you, the gun is next. Now things get really weird. What should officer have done in that situation with this individual who was probably on drugs and had warrants and had been locked up before by that same individual? Whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.